Joining us to talk about this is legal analyst and renowned litigator Debra Opri, who
Debra?
you can follow on Twitter at Debra Opri. Good morning, Debra.
Hi, you mean Wendy's money put her up for 10 years?
Yeah,
Wendy's
no kidding.
money. That's exactly right. And that's what makes this story so much more layered. And as a woman and as a breadwinner, and I know Wendy outside of the show, I know her from HSN. Her clothing does very well there, by the way. She's a real hustler. And there are types of women that attract men like this. You know, you're the breadwinner.
Women.
Yes.
Yeah.
And these guys see you and they hone in. They go, okay, this is my new project and I'm going to get anything I can out of this project.
Well, Jillian, this is a sleazy story. And if she wants fodder for her show, which I wouldn't recommend, I think she has to put an end to this as soon as possible. This is a long-term marriage. This is well over 20 years. Mm-hmm. They have been having problems. It is a New Jersey filing, I believe, and New Jersey, while it's not a no-fault state, it does follow the no-fault principles. That's my understanding. So what do I think is going on? I think as far as the spousal support, if he was working for her, i.e., she gave him a job because he couldn't do anything else, that's going to have some say in terms of spousal support, and she may be on the hook for that.
Yeah, I mean, she's not going to get away completely scot-free. She's going to end up having to pay something.
She's got to pay the spousal support. It may be for a long time, if not ever. If not forever, and there won't be child support because the kid's going to college, and I do not believe that is something that child support includes. The child will be emancipated very soon. The issue that Wendy has to be concerned about is she has to keep her show going. She has to stay strong and stay away from the enabling things that she fell off the wagon for. And she has to move on with her life, and she has to be some sort of a figure for women out there who are going through the same things she is going through. And make no mistake, she was in an abusive relationship because of the dynamics of that relationship. Mm-hmm. And when you have to give someone a job and make them your manager and make them a title of executive producer, you're enabling them. What is coming? A tell-all book.
From her?
Hubby.
No, he's going to write a tell-all book and tell all of her dirty secrets.
And you know what? You slimy creep, because you're the one screwing around outside of your marriage, putting a woman up in an apartment with Wendy's money, having a baby. How dare you live off her?
I have to be honest with you. If I were him getting a book deal, if I were her, I'd say, let me write the forward.
Yeah, no
kidding. I want you to make a lot of money on this, and you tell anybody whatever you want.
Exactly.
Well, if she's an alcoholic, though, and she's got problems with drugs, he probably knows a lot of very embarrassing things about her that she doesn't want out there. And he's going to put all that in the book because that's what the publishers are going to require.
Yeah, she's been very open about cocaine.
Been open about her issues. God bless her.
What's he going to say? She got wasted one night and did this. Okay, fine. Those are individual stories. She actually has been ahead of all of that. But
here's the answer. He drove me to drink.
Yeah, there you go.
It's all your fault. Listen, these are two adults. They need to go their own separate ways. If he's going to do the tell-all book.
He looks bad. He looks really bad, though.
It's a very regular story. Mm-hmm. The guy probably has low self-esteem.
Yep.
He fed off of her with the support. And the more money she gave him, the more he hated her for it.
You know, these types, they come along and they act more important than they are. They make a woman like her, and yes, she seems super strong. I happen to know her personally. She's a very wonderful and giving woman. And these guys, narcissists, go in and prey. That's their motive. That's that's what they do. That you become a host and they're the parasite. And when you're no longer there, they'll find another one, you know?
Wendy is probably a marshmallow on the inside.
Yeah, well, she is.
She's a good soul. And the long and short of it is, to get out of this cycle, she's going to have to do a lot of therapy. She's going to have to close the door and say, I'm done. And she can't go down this road with this kind of a personality again, because the more she gives to people like this, the more they will abuse them in terms of putting them down, making them feel they're useless. And this is emotional abuse in many ways.
We're talking to Debra Opri, renowned litigator and legal analyst. Debra, if you had a client that was going through a divorce and they said, I want to sue my spouse or former spouse for child support for my 18-year-old child who's going on 19, what would you tell them?
I've had clients asking me that, and I'll say, I need you to research emancipation. I need you to understand that you're going to look foolish when you're filing this. When I saw this in his pleading, it was like, what the hell?
Yeah. I'm so not surprised.
I don't recommend that my clients do this because in all instances, when you're representing someone, you have to represent them within the parameters of the law.
Right.
And the child will be emancipated. I'm sure she will pay for the child's college. I don't see an issue with that. But to ask for it, he's not entitled.
But wait a
to
minute.
it.
Why isn't he responsible for half of it? He's got a good salary. He has a job.
He's not working. That's why I let him write the book.
Yeah. Right. The more money it makes, the more money, it's just.
John and Jillian, can we all say this together? Have you not seen this before? We have.
Oh.
Endless with these kinds of cases. That's what keeps me in business.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Well, what would you do if you were her? Because everyone is following this story in the papers. Certainly people that watch that talk show are following it. He was part of that show. I would talk about it on the air.
Okay. If I were her agent, I'd say let him write a book, write the forward, and get ready for a new type of TV show. As a lawyer, I would tell her, drag this out as long as you can. Let him draw out and become so desperate for money that he'll make a deal. That's really the easy litigation strategy.
As a lawyer,
Just
would you suggest that she talk about him on air like John was saying, or would you say don't?
No, you don't want defamation. You got to get this litigation done. You can talk about him in her pleadings, but I wouldn't get on a show and talk about it. I would just talk about the issues that are raised in marriages like this, substance, alcohol, and I'm just pulling things out of the air because I don't know the details of their personal life, emotional abuse, divorce filings, how do you survive a divorce, therapy, how does it help, what is an enabler, and, I would just do that, but I would not have any personal conversations about this marriage and this person until this case is done.
Now, Debra, as someone who has been a litigator in cases very similar to this and worked for celebrities and gone up against celebrities, when you look at where this is headed and you look at where they started out, there were a lot of negative stories about Wendy Williams in the tabloids, in the papers. What do you think the odds are that he was the source of those stories and was selling those stories behind her back for money?
My opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if it was him.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
But, how many stories can someone get out there and sell, especially if Wendy is going to start saying, look, when all of this is over, I will give you the story. I'll give you the exclusive. And, she has to move forward. If she keeps looking back over her shoulder at this marriage and at this person, rather than looking forward and the sunshine on the horizon, it's going to destroy her. She cannot wallow in this garbage. And this is truly garbage.
Well, and think about,
move quickly away.
I think about her and, 20 years and this guy's screwing on the side and he's got this girlfriend he's keeping. It's not just a one-night affair. I mean, this is a decade long, and he has a baby. This is a baby with her? I mean, that is so hurtful.
Okay, but it's not unusual.
No, it's not, but to be on the other side.
I'm an attorney in New Jersey, so I can tell you what her attorney is probably telling her. We're going to move past this. We'll make the deal. But I think they should dry him out with the finances and just let him rot out there as long as possible and then say, here's your deal. And then move along. Because
I know. I'm just saying as a personal thing, as a woman, it's so embarrassing. It's so harrowing. It hurts you. It stabs you a little bit in your heart that here's a guy not just screwing around on the side, but having a baby with her, putting her up in an apartment that you pay for. When I was going through divorce...
Julian, how many stories has she done on this? I mean, she doesn't understand the ropes of there are people who are kind of not great personalities out there?
No,
We
it
don't have
hurts.
any.
I'm saying I was paying for a truck for my ex-husband, and once I saw him on the road with his beautiful supermodel girlfriend, this was years ago, another girl, it hurt my feelings that I was paying for the truck. Not that the girl was young
Were
and
you paying
beautiful.
for her?
You're just
Were you
human.
paying
At
for
the
her
end of the
dinner?
day, you're just human.
Yes, but when they're done that's what therapy is for. Wendy will survive. You survived. Everybody survives this. It's called.
I know, but when you're in the
learn
fire, it
from your
sucks.
experience.
I know. Just
If Wendy were to call me and say, "Hey, I want to ask you a few questions," I would basically say to her, "Stand on your 2 feet and look forward and don't look back because it is over. Make yourself who you're going to become, emotionally, strength-wise, and with your career. Look forward. Don't look back. He's no longer part of your present."
All right,
That's it.
Deborah
Just
Opri,
get him done.
legal analyst and litigator. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We
Thanks,
always
Deborah.
appreciate it.